What if I told you that one single goal in the 9th minute might have changed the entire Premier League title race? On Wednesday night, under the lights at the Amex Stadium, something shifted, not just on the scoreboard, not just in the table, but in the mindset of a club that has been chasing this dream for years. Arsenal walked into Brighton knowing exactly what was at stake. This wasn't just another away fixture. This was pressure. This was expectation. This was the kind of game that separates contenders from champions. 9 minutes in, Bukayo Saka stepped up. One touch, one finish, one moment of calm inside chaos. 1-0. That was it. That was the goal. But if you think that means it was easy, you would be completely wrong. Because from that moment on, it was a fight. Brighton and Hove Albion pressed hard. They pushed forward. They tested Arsenal's defence again and again. The noise inside the Amex grew louder with every attack. Arsenal weren't flowing. They weren't dominating. They were surviving. And sometimes, surviving is what champions do. When the final whistle blew, the Arsenal fans in the away end exploded. The celebrations weren't normal. They weren't casual. They were emotional. Because everyone knew something bigger had happened. But here's the twist. While Arsenal were defending that 1-0 lead on the south coast, something dramatic was happening up north. At the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City were playing Nottingham Forest, the defending champions, the team with experience, the team that knows how to close seasons. They went ahead, then they gave it away. They went ahead again, then they gave it away again. Twice they led, twice they failed to protect it. 2-2. 2 points dropped, at home. And when that news reached the Arsenal supporters inside the Amex, the noise changed. It wasn't just celebration anymore, it was belief. Because now the gap at the top wasn't small, it was 7 points. 7, with the season entering its final stretch. Let that sink in. 7 points clear in the Premier League is not luck. It's not coincidence. It's not hype. It's control. But before we get carried away, let's be honest about something. This wasn't a perfect performance. Brighton under Fabian Hurzeler are one of the most demanding tactical teams in the league. They press fast. They move the ball quickly. They make you uncomfortable. Arsenal did not dominate them. They did not play beautiful football. They defended, they blocked, they fought, and sometimes when the pressure is this high, that is enough. Now here's the big question. If Arsenal had dropped points and City had won, what would we be saying today? The narrative would be different. People would question Arsenal's mentality. They would say the pressure is getting to them. They would say City are coming. But instead, Arsenal won. City slipped. The gap grew. Momentum matters in a title race. And right now, momentum is wearing red. But here's what makes this even more interesting. After the game, Saka didn't talk about tactics. He didn't talk about the goal. He didn't talk about the table. He talked about noise. Social media noise. Pundit noise. External pressure. He said something simple but powerful. The noise is mostly outside. And the solution? Don't engage with it. That tells you something. This team knows the pressure is rising. They know the world is watching. They know every mistake is discussed online within seconds. And they are choosing to block it out. That is maturity. That is growth. And that might be the difference this time. Because winning a title isn't just about talent. It's about mental strength. And Arsenal are showing signs of both. But we're only getting started. Because while Arsenal celebrated, frustration was building elsewhere. And in part 2, we're going to talk about the reaction that shocked everyone, including a manager who publicly accused Arsenal of not playing football. Stay with me, because this story is about to get heated. That's not football. The accusations begin when a rival manager publicly questions your style of play. You know you're doing something right. After the final whistle, Brighton boss Fabian Hurzeler did not hide his frustration. He didn't soften his words. He didn't pretend it was just one of those nights. He accused Arsenal of time wasting. He said it wasn't football. He even suggested the Premier League might need clearer rules to stop what Arsenal are doing. Think about that for a second. The league leaders win an away game under pressure, and the response is a call for rule changes. That tells you something. It tells you Arsenal are becoming uncomfortable to play against. Hurzeler asked a pointed question in his press conference. Did anyone actually enjoy watching that game? He suggested only committed Arsenal fans would say yes. That's a strong statement. But here's the truth. When you're chasing a title, entertainment is not the priority. Results are, Arsenal got a clean sheet. Arsenal got 3 points. Arsenal walked away 7 points clear. That is what matters. Now compare that reaction to Mikel Arteta. His response? 2 words. What a surprise. Calm, sharp, controlled. Then he added that similar comments have been made before. He said he loves his players and the way they compete. No anger, no panic, no long defense, just confidence. That difference in reactions speaks volumes. One manager frustrated, one manager composed, and in title races composure wins. But the drama didn't stop there, because former players started weighing in. John Obi Mikel said Arsenal play horrible football. Paul Scholes went even further, saying, No team deserves the title this season. No team deserves it, that's a bold claim. Now here's where things get interesting. At the same time, Pep Guardiola and Virgil van Dijk have both described this as the toughest Premier League season they've experienced. Guardiola said every team can hurt you. Van Dijk called it the hardest season of his career. So which is it? Is this a weak season or the most competitive one ever? Both cannot be true. And maybe, just maybe, some voices are uncomfortable with who is leading the race. Because here's the reality. Arsenal are not flashy every week. They don't always dominate possession, but they defend well. They are dangerous from set pieces. They stay organised, and they grind out wins. That may not be pretty, but it is effective, and effective wins titles. Now, before we go further, let's talk about something that could still hurt Arsenal, because not everything is perfect. We're going to address the uncomfortable truth about Arsenal's striker, and the growing concerns in midfield that could decide this entire season. Don't go anywhere. This is where it gets real. The hidden problems nobody wants to ignore. Let's be honest, even when you're 7 points clear, there are cracks you cannot ignore. Start with Victor Gyökeres. On paper, he has goals, but against Brighton, he contested 7 duels. He won 0. 0 out of 7. For a striker, leading the line in a title race, that is worrying. Across the season, he is winning only 32% of his physical battles. In the Premier League, that matters. Defenders here are strong, aggressive, organised. Being mentally strong is important. Gyökeres has spoken about winning titles before in Portugal. He understands pressure, but mental strength doesn't win headers. It doesn't hold off centre-backs. That physical side must improve. And that's not hate, that's reality. Now look at midfield. Declan Rice has been incredible this season. Martin Zubimendi has worked tirelessly. But recently, they look tired. The sharpness is fading. The energy is slightly lower. The recovery runs aren't as explosive. Fatigue is real. And this is where squad depth becomes critical. Rotation maybe should have happened earlier, because in a title race, the final weeks are brutal. If Rice and Zubimendi aren't fully recharged, Arsenal could struggle in big moments. And there's one more issue, creativity. Arsenal don't currently have that one magical player who unlocks defences out of nowhere. Think about past legends like Dennis Bergkamp or Santi Cazorla, players who could change a game with one touch. This squad is strong, organised, disciplined, but sometimes when a defence sits deep, you need unpredictability. That spark has been missing lately. Now here's the big question. Can Arsenal win the title without playing beautifully? History says yes. Not every champion dazzles. Some just survive better than everyone else. And right now, Arsenal are surviving. We need to talk about what this all means long term and why some experts believe Arsenal could become something even more dangerous next season. Stay with me, because the ending of this story might surprise you. The shift in power, 7 points clear, let's repeat it. 7 points, with the pressure rising, with critics speaking louder, with rival managers frustrated. This is not luck. This is evolution. Rio Ferdinand said something interesting. He believes Arsenal will win the league by any means necessary. But he went further. He said once they win it, they will become a different animal. That's the scary part. Winning changes teams. It removes doubt. It builds belief. It creates fear in opponents. Right now, teams already look nervous when Arsenal win a corner. Their set pieces are lethal. Their organisation is tight. Their mentality is stronger than before, and when Manchester City dropped those 2 points, you could almost feel the shift. Pep Guardiola kept his word short after the draw. There are a lot of games to play. Calm on the outside, but everyone saw his expression. He knows 7 points is serious. Yes, City have a game in hand. Yes, there are matches left. But momentum is powerful, and momentum is red. Now here's the payoff. Arsenal are not perfect. They need Gyökeres to improve physically. They need Rice and Zubimendi rested. They need creativity in tight games. Those are real challenges. But here's what matters most. They are winning anyway. That is the sign of growth. This season has tested everyone. Some say it's weak. Others say it's the toughest ever. But the truth is simple. If Arsenal lift that trophy, nobody will remember whether it was pretty. They will remember the table, 7 points clear, and nights like Brighton where they defended, fought and refused to break. That is how titles are built. Now I want to hear from you. Is Arsenal's style smart or boring? Do they deserve it if they win this way? And can Manchester City still catch them? Drop your thoughts below. Because one thing is certain, the title race is not over. But for the first time in years, it feels like it's Arsenal's to lose.